Okay, so in this video, we're going to go over how to outline those different offers side by side. This is perfect for if they have an accepted offer, or maybe they're wanting to proceed with the refinance and you want to outline the different lenders or different banks. You don't actually have to include a lender. You can keep that hidden if you want. You just want to compare options. That is fine too. So what I want to show you here is this is the offers tab within a mortgage file. So if we go into our pipeline where our files are located, and then you click into a file, on the sidebar, it will say offers. Now, I already have 5 of them created. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create one. But before I do that, I want to show you what I'm referring to and what it looks like. So if I go into the client portal, once you have those offers published, in their offers tab over here, you can outline the different options side by side so they can understand the difference of payments, mortgage amount, the mortgage amount plus the default insurance amount, if that's included. Prepayment penalty will take 3 months interest by default, but you can put a higher penalty if you want to have an IRD. And then you can list out pros and cons for each option. The client themselves can then toggle between monthly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly, and weekly payment options to see what makes most sense for them. Now, I do want to also point out that we did add in a mortgage protection plan estimate as well. So as you can see, this assessment, I included the estimated cost for life insurance monthly, the estimated cost for disability, the total estimated cost, and then down here you can see the total payment if one person's protected or if the other person's protected, or the total household protection payment, meaning both of them have full insurance. So if you're wanting to sell more MPP, this could be a great option. But I'm going to hop back over to the mortgage file side where we have our scenarios. So you can either create a new one by clicking this button here, or we can go to this blue button right here that says create offer. Now in this offer, we're going to title it. We're just going to call it option 5. Now you don't have to give it a lender, but if you do want to give it a lender, you would search that right here. So TD Bank, TD Canada Trust. We're actually not going to give it a lender because the other ones already have lenders. So I'm going to show you what it looks like without one. Now we're going to go rate type fixed, 3, 4, 5-year term. You don't actually have to include a rate, but in this situation we are going to. So let's say the mortgage amount is $500,000 that we're comparing. The interest rate's 4.5%. You'll notice that it automatically calculated this monthly payment. Now, if there's an insurance premium, a default insurance premium, you can essentially type that in here, say it's 20 grand, and it's going to add it to the total mortgage amount, which is what's calculated in the monthly payment. Now, the search rate function here, this doesn't currently work. This is what we're adding right now. That's why it says prototype next to it. Yours probably won't even show this at the time of you watching this video. If it does, then it's working already. But for the most part, if you're watching this video soon after we made it, it won't have that. We're eventually going to have rates and policies fetched into the system. So you can either type in a rate manually or you can search between the rates that are in the system. Now moving on, it will show the prepayment penalty, which is 3 months interest. But like I said, if it's a fixed rate and you want to illustrate an estimated IRD, you might put $9,000 in there. Let's put the comma in so it looks nice. Okay, now moving on to the next tab. We know we're going to get, say, 15% lump sum payments and 100% increase per year. There's no lender fee or no broker fee. We're not doing a private, but if it was private or alternative, you could add the lender broker fee in there. MPP protection. So I got this one client, age, say 35, and he's a male, and I'm going to get life and disability, or maybe just life, but we'll click both just so it outlines both. And this is a pretty accurate payment. It's not 100% accurate. It's not like we're using MPP's exact formula, but we've cross-referenced hundreds of files at different age groups to see what the typical premium looks like. Now, this is not considering if they are like a heavy smoker or they have health conditions. Obviously, things can adjust. This is just estimated for them to get an idea of which route they want to go. You will eventually give them the exact amount later on, and don't worry, there is a disclaimer in the offer. So now we have both of those added in. You can also list out your pros and cons. So maybe this product has HELOC built in. Maybe there's high prepayment privileges. And maybe the con is that the rate is not very competitive. Okay. Now, what you'll notice is you can load from templates. So you don't actually have to type these out manually. You can have different templates. For instance, like I have one Scotia step that has already some stuff built in. If I click that, it's going to populate all the pros and cons that I saved for that Scotia. However, if you've already typed out a bunch, then what you'll go is you'll click Save as Template. And now you can make these 2 pros and cons a specific template. So maybe this is your pros and cons for going with TD, or your pros and cons going for Scotia. That way you're not typing them out every single time, and you just have to do it once the first time around, and then after that it's really easy to add. But we're not going to worry about templates right now. We're going to click Create Offer, and now we're going to see our option right here. As I mentioned, we did not select a lender. That's why there's no lender showing there. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to publish it to the portal. It's important to keep in mind you can only have 5 published into the portal at once. That's why I unpublished this one over here, just so that we can see our new option. So we have Scotia fixed, Scotia adjustable, TD variable, MCAP adjustable, and then just no lender, unknown lender, fixed. A lot of people like to just keep the lender out of all the scenarios. That way, the client's really just choosing solely based on the perks, not based on the lender, but it's really your decision. So I'm going to hop back into the client portal. And as you will notice, the one that we didn't select a lender for just says option 5. So there's no lender showing there. So you could do that for every single one of them, option 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then it has the full breakdown that we configured, along with the default insurance and the pros and cons. So fantastic way for your clients to compare their options side by side, but also just a really good tool to be able to pull up when you're going to have that consultation with them over the phone or over on Zoom. That way you can just work through it. Now, the most efficient way and the best practice to make this is to configure one of them, because in most cases, the mortgage amount is going to be the same across to all of them. You make one of them, and then you're just going to duplicate it. And then you can just update the duplicated one. You just click into Edit, and then you might just end up changing the rate, change the bank, and then swap out the pros and cons a little bit, and you're good to go. It's usually pretty quick once you get the first one done. And when you're ready to send it to the client, you click Update Client, just like some of the other modules, and it's going to pull 3 of them into a snapshot and say there's 2 more in their portal to view. And then with the message up at the top, it's whatever email template you decide to use from your templates, your email templates. And you can add that in right up here. And again, you can select a different email signature, a different email sender if you want to send it from someone else. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward from there. So just like the scenarios tab, if you want to see what's already been sent out to the clients, you can click this eye icon. You can see that 2 updates have already been sent out. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, and it's a great way to compare those options side by side before submitting to the lender and really giving your clients a good overview of what they're getting themselves into. So hopefully this helped. If you want to create those pros and cons templates outside of this tab, you would go to your template section, and then there's one that says pros and cons down here, and you can actually create more directly within here. You just add a bunch of pros, add a bunch of cons, and then call it like Scotia Step or TD Flex Line, whatever product it is, and then that way you have that template. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let me know if you need anything, and I'm more than happy to help.